All right, y'all, I got a student calling me. Give me one moment, but I'm about to hit the share screen. All right, let's roll, ladies. So, somebody said something in the chat. There you go. There you go. All right, it's good to have you guys on. All right, so everybody has their info for the portal. Portal came down Friday, Saturday, and I needed to get it into everybody's hand. Finally got it for Cosmo, finally got it finished for nail technology. We have cosmetology and aesthetics during the day. So at night, we have cosmetology and lash specialty. Both are apprenticeship kind of hybrid programs. They're really quick. And so this lash course, with both of you guys being in the lash course, I want to say welcome, Veronica. The course is about 3 months. Okay. We're about to get into the meat of it. We are yet in our orientation chapter, one of our last orientation chapters. And so, Veronica, you're coming in at a really good time. We're about to move into chapter 1 of lash specialty. And the Milady course, there is no foundations textbook for lash specialty. You would just go along with the other disciplines. Okay. So what I want to do, we're going to be in chapter 5, but chapter 5 is in your text, but I'm going to definitely take a look at it. I want you to look around the portal. You have cosmetology, aesthetics. You also have eyelash specialty. That's going to be your course, the eyelash specialty. And then go over one more. That's the nail technology. Okay. Let's jump into eyelash specialty. So you'll click eyelash specialty. Okay. And you guys also can download an app. We do not use the time tracking system. That's why we have home base. Okay. And so you can have it on your phones or iPad, however you want to do it. Also, here's your ebook. The first square is going to say your ebook. You click that and you're going to be able to open up your ebook. That's going to be very important. Then if you don't want to just open up your ebook, you can just go to each individual chapter. You guys have 8 chapters, okay? 8 chapters, and then you have a comprehensive exam. So you have an exam at the end, okay? You guys are gonna be doing terms and check-in questions, okay? Terms and check-in questions. Those are your biggest components when it comes to preparing for the state board. I am going to Nashville on the 8th, all right, for a PSI state board meeting. If you're not familiar with PSI, they are the ones that create your test for your license, okay? The Tennessee State Board of Cosmetology hires PSI to create the test for the license. We have a meeting on Monday, and they're gonna update us on all the new updates or let us know, hey, we're still gonna roll the same. Whatever they say, I'm going to process it and bring it back. Okay. When I get back on the 8th, we will simultaneously, as you're learning, start prepping for state board. You have to take a theory exam first, and then you have to turn around, pass the theory exam with at least a 70. Then you have to take the practical exam. Your practical exam, ladies, is simply sanitation, infection control, making sure that you are not spreading bacteria, germs, things like that to your clients, and that the clients are not spreading that to you. Also, making sure you know how to yourself, wear your gloves, your mask, and you're not poking the client if in the eye or around the eye or anything of that nature. If you draw blood, we have to teach you how to clean it up. All right. So your state board exam is going to include all the sanitation, the disinfection, infection control, but also it's going to include you pretending like there was a puncture in the skin, and then you're going to show them how you would clean it up if you did poke somebody. Okay. And so just like if you draw blood from a little area, maybe your tweezers were too sharp, you will have to stop the service and then follow that procedure. Don't worry, I'm going to show you how to do all of that. And the last part of your exam is going to be, you need to apply 6 lashes. You need to apply 6 lashes to the mannequin. Okay. So that right now sets your license between you and your license is you applying 6 lashes. You making sure you have your gloves on, you making sure your client is draped and protected, and that you know how to prevent the client, that you know how to prevent infection control from the client. Okay. And so that's what we're going to do. Welcome to the class tonight. Please go ahead and put your name in the chat and also clock in on Homebase. Okay. If you got Homebase yesterday, go ahead, download the app, clock in on it. This is what we do. This is what we do. Okay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I'm going to go through the portal a little bit just to make sure everybody understands it. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer them. Right now, we jumped into the lash course. And as I was going through, I encourage you to just take a look. These are some of the chapters, and you only have 8 chapters, okay? This is your ebook. And then you're gonna go from chapter 1, eyelash extension history and careers, chapter 2, eye and eyelash anatomy and physiology, disorders, diseases, and allergies of the eye. It's a major emphasis on understanding the eye. The client safety and infection control. I was just talking about that. You guys are going to get that now. And then tools, products, and ingredients. You're going to learn all about the ingredients, the difference between the different adhesives. Okay. Why do we use certain adhesives at certain, who can use certain adhesives? That's going to be a big thing. I'm always teaching my students about products and ingredients and choosing the best, not because they're popular or they smell good, but choosing the best for the client. I do like to build and create products, but I build and create products based on the problem. So I'm always listening to the clients to find out what the issues are so I can give the solution. I'm already in the solution while they're talking about the problem. So always keep that in mind. Listen to your clients. You want to find out what are they unhappy about, what they don't like. Okay, whether it's nails or lashes or skin or hair, what do they don't like? And then what's in your means to give them a solution to change that around. All right. And so there's going to be a lot of that. We work from a solutionist standpoint. Then you have eyelash extension application. And so now we're talking about applying the lashes, right? But you're going to apply the lashes based on the eyes, how far the eyes set apart. How close are the eyes? And see, a lot of times you may see people who say they're lash specialists, they're lash techs, they're doing lashes, but they're just putting the same lashes on everybody. And sometimes they look different. Sometimes it looks amazing. Sometimes it looks like, I don't know what just happened. But we look like that because our facial features, okay? You're supposed to do lash sets that are complementary to the facial features. And so we are in the beauty industry to enhance all of our clients' facial features. We should never do something that pulls the enhancement, the beautification from the features. And so if we're doing something that's totally out of whack and it doesn't draw us in for beauty and it draws us out and we're looking like, what? Something's weird about it. That's not the right thing that we should be doing for our clients. We got to stay in tune with them. And when you get to chapter 6, you'll learn about different lash styles, different curls, and based on the set of a person's lips and eyes, based on the shape of their face, based on how their eyes are closer or they're further apart, based on whether they have extra skin around their eyes, based on whether their skin are more have a cat eye, they naturally have a cat eye, or they don't have any lid at all, or they have too much lid. That's what your lash sets are dependent on. You gotta be able to do that. You're not gonna be just sitting there like, come on, come on, come on, and use the same thing on everybody. Now, chapter 6 is going to start to differentiate you away from what everybody else do. Now you're gonna start being like, hey, I'm finding my niche. I think I like this more, or I've started to observe. I look at this now before I perform these services on the client. So chapter 6 starts to pull us back because now we're starting to move into some actual hands-on training. Then we look at chapter 7, that's eyelash and eyebrow chemical services. It's a bonus. It's a bonus. Just take it. It's a lash course. We're only supposed to teach you lashes, but it ain't no way I'm not going to teach you how to wax. It ain't no way I'm not going to teach you how to do brow lamination. Okay. So all of that is a bonus. So chapter 7, I'm going to teach you brow lamination and brow tint. So it's 2 extra things you're going to learn: brow lamination and brow tint. Also within your course, you got lash application, but you also have lash lift. Anybody ever heard of lash lift before? Has someone done a lash lift or had a lash lift before? You can unmute or you can go to the chat. Has someone had? Hey, Ms. Garcia, welcome. No. Okay, I'm a person, I'm very sensitive about my eyes, and anything that come close, I'm like kind of resist it. So I'm probably not the best candidate for lash extensions. Now, when I do get them, it's a special occasion, and I go to Jada and Jada already know. Okay, I need to get Miss Cox in and out. We're gonna talk, and I'm gonna hold it in, and I'm gonna say, "You done? You done? You done? You done?" And she's gonna give me the least. You know, you can tell I have them on there, but she's gonna give me the least complicated thing because I be a messed around and glued my little eyes together, messing around with her work. So I have recently went over to lash lifting. And lash lifting is just them taking your lashes, so you will take the lashes and you will take the lashes that they were born with, and you would give a curve to those lashes, just like if you were rolling hair, but you would give a curve to those lashes. And it lasts just as long as a brow lamination, just as long as a brow tint. It's an alternative for those individuals who, guess what, cannot get lashes, or it just makes someone say, I need to take a break on lash extensions. Let me just curl my regular lashes. And you can find curling patterns tight, medium, loose. Okay. They come in many different shapes. So it just really depends. And sometimes the lash lift can look like you have on lash extensions. Okay. You won't need to use the curler to soften and curve them around. It is a really cool technique that doesn't take more than 10-15 minutes. I know brow lamination takes about 5 minutes for my students to do. And so I tell them all the time, if the average brow lamination in Memphis is around $60-$65, do your research at most spas. Brow lamination may be around $60-$65. If it only takes you 4 to 5 minutes, that's the instructions, 4 to 5 minutes to complete. How many brow laminations can you start doing to add more revenue at the end of the day? That's something to think about. Even hairdressers, you know, what if I could do brow laminations? That's gonna be a great turnaround for me. Every client that gets a brow arch, wax, tweeze, that gets some kind of beautification on the face needs and deserves to have that service. They just don't know who offers it. You gotta let them know who offers it. And then we have chapter 8 where you're gonna be building your lash business. So it's all about lashing. That was just a nugget I just gave. You're gonna get those nuggets throughout every time you're on Zoom. Okay. Ultimately, we want to just collectively, I'm part of a group of school owners. We just found that collectively we're gonna have to add some business courses, because I can't let you go out and not be ready and prepared. No, it's not our job on the business side to take you through these business courses, but not as a teacher. But if you look at me as a big sister, I would want to make sure my sister and my niece was prepared. And so I would do the same thing for you guys. And so we'll talk a lot about business, beauty business, we'll talk the numbers, the analytics, and then we're also preparing for the exam. That is your lash course. Everything about lashing is found in that lash box. Okay. Let me open up chapter 1, and then I'm gonna move over to nails. So I opened up the box that says chapter 1. These are all the lessons in chapter 1. Okay. We have scope of practice, scope of practice, scope of practice. That's going to be something you're going to hear all the time in everybody's lesson. Scope of practice. Scope of practice is where the state board has outlined what you can do with your license and what you cannot do. Okay. A manicurist cannot wax. It's outside of your scope of practice. A manicurist cannot massage the scalp. Is outside of your scope of practice. Okay. A manicurist can massage the feet and the hands, and the leg cannot go past the knee. they can do that. And so it's good to know what our scopes of practice are. Our lash technicians, we're not supposed to be doing body contouring. Heck, our cosmetologists and estheticians can't do body contouring. So it's good to know what you can do within your license so you can stay licensed the longest. The one with the most longevity is the one that's able to continuously make more money and have more success in the industry. Okay. Every chapter, open up the box. I want you to come down to the bottom. Okay. You have chapter 1, check in. Every week, when we get to these chapters, your assignment is to complete your check-in questions. You don't have to, I don't have to be on the phone. I don't have to be on Zoom. Everybody knows that before you graduate, you need to have 8 sets of check-in questions, 1 for each chapter. Okay. Let's see, somebody is in the chat. How to access the portal. If you look in your email yesterday, I sent over your link, all of your stuff. I sent over the link, your sign-in password to everyone yesterday. Check your email. Also in the email, I sent your welcome letter and schedule, which included your Zoom check-ins. Me sending your individual Zoom information and communicating via Messenger was just a bonus, just to make sure everybody flowed well. But from this day forward, make sure you're checking your email and communication via the email. Okay? Communication via the email, because sometimes I won't be paying attention and I don't want nothing to fall by the wayside. But yeah, check your email. And when you check your email, check in the spam as well. You will see your welcome letter. You will see your schedule. You'll also see your Zoom sign-in information. And you'll have your portal login. Okay. But everybody has that access, all right? And so when you come in, so basically your homework assignment every week is going to be check-in questions. You will complete those check-in questions and email them in, and you'll say lash specialty homework check-in questions. That's it. It comes to me by Wednesday, even though they send them, you send it in every Monday, but by Wednesday it's checked, graded, and filed. Okay? We check it, we grade it, we file it. And then when we do our evaluations, we let you know what your grades are, hours are, so on and so on. Your chapter review, okay, discussion about the chapters. You have your chapter review slides. This is like a PowerPoint, guys. And I'm gonna click it. It's a pre-made PowerPoint. It's just a summary of everything you're learning. It took what you saw, what you read in the book, and put it all together. All right. So everybody has access to these. Every chapter, every box has its own. Every box has its own PowerPoints, own study materials. Okay. And then also, every box will have its own flashcards for studying. You only got one term for that chapter, and that's eyelash technicians. Learn it, summarize it that you can best understand it, and that's it. Okay. So to pass the exams, you need to be able to have read the chapter, complete your check-in questions, and then study with your flashcards. The reason I'm asking you to particularly study the flashcard section is because if you understand the terminology, if you understand the words, you'll be able to really gauge the best answers when you are testing for state board. You literally have to understand this. I could teach, but I don't, it makes me know it does nothing for me if I'm teaching and somebody on the on the other end does not understand. So I want you to know it's a safe space. Send me some smoke signals, text me, call me, something and say, hey, Miss Cox, I need a little more help on that chapter, or I don't take tests well, or I'm having a hard time focusing virtually. And the only thing I tell people with the focusing virtually is we have so much to stay you that you can stay connected, is you have to make sure on the other side that you are stable, that you're in your quiet place, you're in your place, you're going to control the other side of you studying. Okay. And so we have video, sound, we have so many things. We have Facebook, YouTube, so many things. We have so many things going on. So um, you got this, you got this, you got this. So I just wanted to share that these are the chapters. And although both of you guys, well, a couple of you guys are Lash and a couple of you guys are nail technology, our students have access to every anything that they want to learn. Okay. You want to go over to aesthetics and say, hey, I need to really study how they did that because that was cold. I need to learn how to do that. Go into aesthetics, go into the chapter and learn how to do it. Watch the videos, take the exams, test your knowledge. Okay. Study over there. You never know what it may come about. But I definitely want you to take the time and look that up. We have someone in the chat. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. Any questions? I just went over the lash specialty. Any questions? I'm about to get ready to go through nail technology real quick. Okay. Ms. Garcia, were you able to get the email, log into the portal? Okay. Mic check, Ms. Garcia. Are you there? Okay. Let's just take a note. Although we are virtual, we're in class. I don't have a fit about you cutting on the screens. I'm not gonna have a fit about you with a hat on. But I am gonna have a fit about interaction. So if you're on the other side and if you're getting credit, I need you to talk back to me. Either be in the chat or you unmute. If you are released from the Zoom, you won't be able to come back in. That just has been our policy for years. So please make sure that we are involving ourselves in the training. This is your training just as much as anyone else. I have, and you've heard people say, you know, they got their license. That's not for me to say. I'm here to serve you. And in order for me to serve you, I need you to be present. Okay. So I'm gonna wait about 5 more minutes. I need Ms. Garcia to say something, or I'm gonna have to remove you from the Zoom. Okay. In moving forward, let's look at our nail course. The nail course is going to be a little different from the lash specialty course. Okay. The nail course has 2-3 times as many chapters. That is average, maybe a 6 to 9 month course instead of a 3 month course. Let's just check out same boxes, but 1 through 10 is going to be one book, and then it starts back over 1 through 13. Okay, and then it has comprehensive exams, so on and so on. And so super, super excited about the nail students. All right. All right, so we're in the nail technology course. And with us in the nail technology course, you will have 2 books. If we go into the ebooks, you will see here you have foundations, and foundations is what we've been in. Those are our orientation chapters. We're going to go in foundations one last time this week, and that's going to be our infection control. You have electricity, you have chemistry, and you have business. And so foundations is a small book, but it's kind of like the pre-work, okay, leading up. And then you have the nail technology, the textbook itself. That's what all the how-tos, the manicures, the pedicures, the LED, how to use the LED, how to use the equipment, the acrylics, all that good stuff. So all of your hands-on training is the second textbook right here, and that's the Milady Standard Nail Technology. All right, and so that's the 8th edition. You just make sure when you're looking at you're going for a reading, you got 2 books. Okay, one is foundations and one is just strictly nail technology. So the one that may be the most fun is going to be the nail technology, because that's, you're getting to how you do stuff. Okay, you're learning different techniques. When it comes to foundations, that's like your foundation, it's your solid rock. Okay, so we got infection control, and then we're going to move on next week to our technical training. All right, so that's what I wanted to share with everybody. Just navigate around. We're in chapter 5, and so foundations, infection control. And then we're gonna jump into chapter 1 and 2, and after about 2 or 3 chapters, we'll all come back and do another, maybe a business chapter, and then we'll leave out again. 2 or 3 weeks to go by, we'll come back for another chapter. All right. So what that simply means is on Zoom, it'll be 2 teachers, myself and someone else, Miss Candace, I believe. Miss Candace will take nails, I will take lashes. And then we may switch it around, but we'll switch it up and move into breakout rooms at that point. Any questions or concerns? All right. Let's move into chapter 5. Go ahead.
I have one. I'm still trying to access this, Veronica. I'm still trying to access that portal, and I don't see it nowhere in the spam or email. So probably after the class, if I don't need to use it within these hours, I need to try to get access. So see, can you resend it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Looking at my email now. Let's do a confirmation. Okay, yesterday at 3:54 p.m. Can you give me your this is Veronica. Go to the chat. and I'm gonna type it in the chat. We are live streaming, so I don't want to give any personal information out, okay? Is that your correct email?
It's missing a G behind the A.
Hold on.
Veronica G.
Veronica G. Okay. All right, sent. I'm gonna continue, but check it for me and let me know if you get it, okay? It says address not found. Okay. I added the G and it's telling me address not found. So we're gonna have to get together after class. And you just stay on, okay? Let's see. All right, guys, let's look at infection control. That's where everybody is going. We got 2 videos we're gonna watch and then we're gonna jump into the ebook. Hold on one moment. Why study infection control? And then 3 cleans. Hold on one moment. We are taking notes.
Picture a construction site without helmets, or a restaurant where the chef doesn't wash their hands. Seems kind of ridiculous, right? Safety practices are in place across many industries to help keep the workers and the customers safe. And in the beauty industry, that means paying special attention to infection control. There are several different agencies that establish rules and regulations for beauty professionals and their workplaces. On the federal level, OSHA enforces workplace safety and health standards, while the EPA controls chemical products like disinfectants. As we dive in a bit closer, we can see state regulatory agencies, including licensing agencies and health departments, enforce the federal and state rules. It's important to abide by their rules and regulations to make sure you run a safe business. Salons, barbershops, and spas see a rotating number of people come in and out, so it's important to properly clean and disinfect tools or instruments that come in contact with clients. Bacteria can multiply like crazy, and some can even grow up to 100 times its size in a second. But by learning proper infection control practices, as well as what to watch out for, you'll be able to create a safe, clean environment for your coworkers and your clients.
All right, that's the key, infection control. You're gonna hear that a lot. Let's look at 3 kinds of clean, and then we're gonna break down, jump back on our discussion at the end of this.
3 kinds of clean. One of the first things you learn as a beauty pro is that you have to be clean. I'm not talking about being neat. I'm talking about your hands and your tools, your nippers, your shears, everything. Squeaky clean. A level of sanitary that sends germs and their nasty bags packing. Why this obsession over germs? because germs can make you and your guests sick. Not to mention what they do to inspectors if you leave some, lying around. I'm just saying, you don't want to go there. So what do we mean by clean? Seems simple, but in reality, it's a little more complicated. That's because some words like sanitation mean different things to different people. Take regulators. They use sanitation as a catch-all to cover all 3 levels of infection control: cleaning, disinfection, and sterilization. The big difference, what they do to germs. Cleaning kills some germs, disinfecting kills most germs, and sterilizing, well, let's just say those little buggers don't stand a chance. Let's go back to beauty pros. All day long we clean dirt and gunk from our hands, petty spas, and stations. Why? It's not just to have a tidy station and clean hands. Nope, we go one better and clean to prevent germs from spreading. They love to find new places to hang out. Our job is to make it hard for them to find a place they can call home. Otherwise, bacteria grows and people get sick and cancel appointments and, well, you know the rest. There are 2 ways to clean. Soap and water work best on hands and skin. All-purpose spray handles the dirty work on most surfaces. That brings us to the second level of infection control, disinfection. You disinfect non-porous or non-absorbent implements like nippers and shears by washing them, then submerging them in an EPA-registered broad-spectrum disinfectant. This is potent stuff. It kills almost any living thing that's too small. Okay, back to the third level of infection control, sterilization. Level of infection. Follow the timing directions on the label so it doesn't wreck your tools. Okay, back to the third level of infection control, sterilization. It's lethal, and by lethal, I mean it kills all microorganisms, including spores, dead. Salons, spas, and barbershops in some states sterilize any implements that invade the skin, especially around the face and nails. That includes tweezers, clippers, or anything that...
All right, I wanted to pause right there because sterilization, the first notice of sterilization we look at is when you're at home and you have that hot water boiling on the stove. When that water boils at 212 degrees Fahrenheit, it is the perfect temperature to kill bacteria. So you would take your implements, your manicure implements, your tweezers that you would have for lash techs, your extractor tools, anything metal, and you would saturate it, immerse it in that that boiling water, and it will kill the spores. So what we're talking about, not killing just germs, not killing some of them, but killing all of them, okay? And what you're doing is you are killing the life of the bacteria, where life comes from, okay? And so that's sterilization. It differs from every state. Every salon has to have a sterilizer. Every spa has to have a sterilizer. Every barber, and barbers are different. Every station, the barbers have to have their sterilizer for their clippers. But if you're opening like a nail shop, you only need one sterilizer. You open a barber shop, you need one per barber, all right? But it is going to be key for you to get rid of bacteria, germs, things of that nature. So I wanted to stop there and give you just a token of the sterilizer. We have one here at school. I'll leave it out for you guys to check out, but it's something for you definitely to look at. Any questions? I'm going to hit play.
Nips or cuts tissue. The reason? Sterilized implements prevent the spread of infection and keep your guests safe. The thing is, sterilization requires special equipment like an autoclave. That's why most shops use pre-sterilized disposable implements and disinfect the reusable ones. So let's recap. Cleaning cleans skin and surfaces and prevents the growth of some germs. Disinfection kills most viruses, fungi, and bacteria, but not their spores. And sterilization kills all microorganisms, including spores. Listen, if you can keep those three straight...
I paused again because I want you to remember this and look at the bars. Cleaning is like cleaning our hands. It's a low level of infection control. Our hands could get dirty again. Disinfection. Now we're cleaning our bathrooms. We're cleaning our stations. We're cleaning, the insides of our cars. Okay, we have a higher level of protection. And then sterilization is the highest level of protection. All right. So cleaning, disinfection, and sterilization. Those are the highest levels, the levels of infection control. Let me also just put a nugget. Okay, let me put a nugget. Let me type it in. When you hear the word sanitation, sanitation cleans hands, and disinfection cleans surfaces. That's going to be very important because as you guys prepare to go to state board, their language needs to be consistent with your language, okay? And so we sanitize hands, sanitation. So we sanitize hands, sanitation. All right. What do we sanitize hands with? You can sanitize hands with soap, hand sanitizer. Although after a while, you need to go back to some water. Okay. So soap and water. Also, you can use a 70% alcohol. 70% alcohol. Is considered also a sanitizing, a disinfectant agent, just real light. I want to say I put in the sanitizing, cleaning and sanitizing, but a 70% alcohol can be used on the face, on the skin. It's going to really dry it up. It can be used on a surface. You can use alcohol to clean a table, to clean a surface with, and you also can use alcohol to clean your hands. Okay, so 70% alcohol, and so you have some individuals that will use witch hazel. But witch hazel has a strength weaker than alcohol, all right? So I wouldn't too much lean towards the witch hazel, all right? I don't even like using witch hazel in skincare, okay? So soap and water, hand sanitizer, 70% alcohol, and make it light. It'll be, the only thing you got in there will be the witch hazel, all right? So you make sure you want to have that.
You've nailed infection control.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. We're going to go over to our coursework. Let's go into our ebook. There are some areas I do want to highlight. We won't be on tonight, but we are introing into infection control. I want you guys to look around. If you're at home, look around your home. Wherever your cabinet is that holds all of your, cleaning supplies, okay? Cleaning supplies. Guess I need to stop share so you guys can see my screen. All right, let's take a minute. See if you can go find a cleaning supply. You need to, you're looking for something, it's called EPA registration number. You're looking for a cleaning supply that has an EPA registration number. When you find it, come back, let me know what you find, what you got. we got to put it in a category. EPA registration number. All right, so it's 7:04. I'm gonna give you 1 minute. All right. Andrea, what did you find? What's the name of your item?
It's a multi-purpose cleaner.
Okay. Does it say disinfectant? What does it say?
Oh yeah, disinfectant. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who makes it?
Ma'am,
Makes it?
mix it.
Who makes it?
Oh,
What
who
co-
makes it? Oh, True Living.
Okay, okay. So that's a disinfectant. Okay, so that what happens when we use that, it is going to we spray or we're gonna wipe. It's going to kill the bacteria you see. So whatever you see with your eyes is going to be clean. It's also going to span out and start to kill a little bit more bacteria, but it's not going to get all of it. All right. So this is why it's good that you have those mothers that teach you how to clean and say clean again and clean and clean again because you're constantly cleaning up. The germs are constantly coming back again, but with disinfectants, they don't come back as fast as they would just using regular cleansers. Okay. Garcia, Miss Garcia. So what kind of cleanser did you find?
You said what kind of cleanser?
Yes. What I saw you put an EPA number in there. What did you find?
Um, can you do Clorox?
Yeah. Yeah. Clorox. What kind of Clorox is it?
What do you mean what kind of Clorox?
So Clorox, don't worry, scratch that question. I'm gonna tell you anyway. There are different types of bleaches. Okay. Um, there's different type of bleach. There's commercial grade, which is stronger than what they sell in the grocery store. Okay, commercial grade is pretty much what landscapers and carpenters use or may have on their trucks, and then you have what they sell in the grocery store. So that's what I'm saying about what kind does it treat? Is it for a particular thing, or is it just says for clothing because they have bleach for sidewalks and so many other things, and it all comes in the same bottle. You just have to read and tell the difference. So here's the thing, Inspector, oh man, he got me together so much. Mr. Biddle was my guy. I mean, I got my instructor license under Mr. Biddle, and he was strict then, but he really cared about you. And when I was teaching and I'm working in another school, he would come in, as state board inspector. And if the salons I worked in, he would come in. He said, the one thing that you have to be aware of when I walk into a space, I do not want to smell a full blown bleach, or I don't want to smell full blown like Fabuloso, things of that nature. He says, that doesn't tell me that it's clean. All right. It doesn't tell you, oh, because it smells like it. Some people like to have that smell. I adore clean smell too, but it doesn't tell me that it's clean or it was mixed or applied properly. And so you have to be careful. Like today, last night, all of a sudden, I had a sinus issue. And I'm not calling it a sinus issue because I'm finna get rid of this. But I have like a little sinus thing going on, just sneezing. And for me, I can't do strong perfumes. They have to be light. They have to be, I can't do strong perfumes. And then strong bleaches and disinfectants, that just cause me to cough. And it makes me, if I'm coming to get a service, I'm going to be very uncomfortable because, something there, my relaxation time, something is causing me now to be strained. And so you have to be very careful and mindful that you do have individuals that inhale certain things in your environment. You're held responsible for them, especially if they have to go to the doctor, because even a lot of people know and some people don't, mixing bleach and ammonia together thinking, oh, this really gonna be clean, this really gonna be clean. No, okay. It creates a gas, and mixing these disinfectants together, when it creates this gas, the gas is inhaled by you and it starts to, your body go into protection mode. So it starts to kind of shut down your airway, like, that's a poison. We don't want that in here. And you can't breathe. Okay. And so we got to be very, very careful about, the disinfectants we have. That's why I wanted you to go see what you got. When you're moving into a salon or spa, state law, you got to make sure that you have something that kills bacteria, fungus, and viruses. If you go into the store, most things on the shelf, you would not find anything that kills all three. So what we use here is barbicide. We purchased that from a professional, like beauty supply, that you have to be a student or a licensed professional. And so everybody has probably heard of barbicide, but barbicide is what we use for stay board, is what we use to do here. You ain't gonna find a real clean scent from it unless you just, I'm in the bathroom and I got a couple of things. But you need to be very, very careful with it. But barbicide, we use the wipes. It's going to suffice for everything stay board that we need. It is going to kill bacteria, kill viruses, and it's going to kill fungus. So when you're going to select something for your salon suite, for your business, for your spa, you need to make sure before you open, you have something that kills those three. Okay, so I just wanted to introduce that as we move on to infection control. When you open the ebook, I've already highlighted key areas for you to study. Y'all, I highlight in different colors just so you're able to break down different things. Okay, so I didn't want all of it to be one color. So you may go into any chapter and see me already ahead of you, highlighting different areas to study. It's just to help you. I probably have seen it on the test, so I know it's going to be on the test, but it is to help you. So when you go in tonight, everybody is going to go into foundations. Okay, pick any of the courses. I know Lash people, you don't have it, but pick any of the courses. Go into the ebook and open up the foundation. You're going to see this. Okay, you're going to see this. And state boards and other regulatory agencies, basically, y'all, we have regulations. We have laws, all right? And the law says we have to follow all aspects of it, even when it comes down to what we're using to clean, how we clean, and things of that nature. We'll take a moment tomorrow and to discuss pandemic. We didn't have to go and buy anything because we already had barbicide. Barbicide kills different types of herpes. It kills coronavirus. It kills so many different things, okay? And so most salons already had that. The state was already requiring us to have something like that. So we didn't have to go and, scuffle the stores. But it's good for you to find out what do you need in a salon when you're going, what disinfectant you're using, and make sure that it's effective. Okay. It says infection control refers to the methods used to eliminate or reduce the transmission. The transmission is the spread of the infection. So our job is to eliminate the spread or reduce the spread. You do not want to have your business, your beauty business, in the forefront of why so they went and got their nails done over there. Everybody that went over there got a fungus. How did that happen? It's gonna trace it back to your spot. And it may trace back to the level of infection control. It was not strong enough, or we didn't practice infection control at all, which means we didn't clean up. We just did what we wanted to do. Okay. So it's something to always check out. This is what we're introducing to. Your assignment tonight, and we'll pick back up on Thursday, is to start reading chapter 5. Everybody, start reading chapter 5. All right, start reading chapter 5. I'm gonna prepare to close because I need to make sure Veronica has all the items that she needs. If you guys need anything from me, please don't hesitate to contact me. This class was recorded. All right, so if you missed it, you came in late, wait till an hour or two, it'll be up on YouTube. Also, the morning class, we're on the same thing. So the morning class was also recorded. So if you want to go check that out, that's always amazing. Okay. I'm gonna close out the share, and I'm gonna take questions. Any questions from anyone? Okay. All right. No questions. Hold on. Let me close the live stream. All right, live streamers. Make sure you guys follow us on our YouTube page.